Hey guys, hope everyone is going well. Just make sure these headphones are in. Today we're going to be talking about strength and how strength in the gym isn't strength out on the track. So I'll wait a little bit for a few people to be able to jump on board. A little bit of an earlier live stream today compared to what we usually do. But hope all you guys have had a great weekend. Hope you've been out there training hard. And any of you guys that were out there racing, hope you have also done well out there on the weekend, going for a ride or on race day. So what I'm going to be talking about today is strength and how strength in the gym isn't strength on the track. Okay, and the biggest mistake that a lot of riders and racers make, and I know I say that a lot because there is a fair few mistakes that are carried across multiple riders and racers. Hey Macy. And one of the big problems there is using strength training in the gym as your gauge for getting better on the bike. Okay, now there's only one useful metric in the whole of strength and conditioning for riders and racers, and that is how you feel on the bike. It doesn't matter how high how your heart rate changes. It doesn't matter how you've changed the amount of food that you're getting in. It doesn't matter about the types of strength exercises, the type of conditioning, the type of flexibility, the type of posture, the type of mindset. All that stuff doesn't work, or all that stuff doesn't matter unless it's actually shown out there on race day. Because at the end of the day, a rider's and racer's goal, hey Farron, is to be able to perform on race day. Okay, it doesn't matter how fast your 5K run is, how fast you can run a marathon, how fast you can swim. All that stuff doesn't matter. The only useful metric is what happens on race day. Okay, because that's your goal. So likewise with strength training. Okay, if you're doing a type of strength training in the gym, but it doesn't correlate very well with what's happening on the bike, so i.e. isolation exercises. Okay, then it doesn't matter how much your bicep curl increases by, how much your leg extensions increase by, how much your leg press increases by. All that stuff doesn't matter, because if it doesn't have a high correlation to what the movement patterns on the bike, then it's not really going to matter. So, hey Cameron, so it doesn't matter if you're 1RM, if you're finding that you started off with 4 sets of 12 leg extensions at 40 kilos, and hey Joel, and now you're doing 4 sets of 12 leg extensions at 100 kilos. That doesn't really matter if you still jump on the bike on the weekend and still have problems with your legs blowing out, still have problems with getting lactic acid buildup, okay? There's all these problems that are still coming up with your racing. So to be able to, using benchmarks with your training is only a marker or a stepping stone to being able to show you the difference that should transfer over to race day. Okay, which is why it's important when you have benchmarks with your training that this isn't just any standard benchmark testing. So it's not just, okay, how much can you leg press? What's your 5K road time? Let's do a beat test, because that stuff's not going to correlate highly over to what's happening on the bike. You need to make sure that the benchmarks you're using and the testing that you use during the week with your training actually uses information that will transfer highly over to on the bike. Okay, and often the things that we think are the issue with our training aren't the issue. Okay, and one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of riders and racers make, and this was me included for a very long time, is trying to isolate certain muscle groups that were getting sore during the race. Hey Nathan, so what I found with what was happening during the races is I was like, okay, I'm getting really, really sore legs. Okay, and that's becoming an issue for me. So what I would do is go to the gym and do heaps of leg extensions, because that replicated the same burn, the same pain that I was getting from on the bike. But the problem wasn't actually my level of leg strength, okay? It was more related to nutrition, level of energy, level of recovery, okay? My energy was declining through race day. I wasn't hydrated enough, okay? I wasn't eating the right types of foods, wasn't retaining the water I was putting in. Okay, and those were the things that were having a bigger effect on my performance, not my actual training. So that's why it's always important to use training as a gauge, and this is what we do with all our riders and racers, is start at the end. Sorry, got a reminder coming up. So that's what is important to know, is that we want to start with the end in mind, okay? So you want to start at your end goal and the problem that you're trying to fix, okay? So for example, if you go out on the bike and you know that every ride your legs just blow up and they feel like they're double the size, okay? And that's a big issue in holding you back. We can start there, okay? That's the problem. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to get stronger. Maybe it is. Maybe that's part of it. So maybe one of those factors is you need to get stronger. Maybe the other factor is you need to increase oxygen intake. So we need to work on your conditioning. Maybe the other area is nutrition. You don't have enough energy. You're not recovering properly. Your body, your muscles can't sustain that same output for a long period of time. Maybe that's another issue. Maybe that's the third area. Maybe it's more hydration. Okay. Maybe it's flexibility. All right, there's a whole heap of different areas that could be affecting that one problem. And that's why it's important to be able to start with the problem. And many racers don't start with the problem first. They start with their training in the gym, okay? And they use that as their gauge for whether they're getting better or worse or fitter or stronger on the bike, even though that might not have any correlation whatsoever to what's happening on the bike. So that's why it's so important to be able to work backwards. So find out what's holding you back, or what is the area that you feel is affecting you. So for you guys, that's going to be different things, okay? So for some of you, it might be level of energy. Some of you, it might be arm pump. Some of you, it might be your legs start to blow up. Some of you might be lower back pain. Some of you might be energy. Some might be mindset halfway throughout the race, okay? And that's another issue as well. A lot of races, I get a lot of people that I speak to on the phone. I speak to heaps and heaps of people every single day. Lots of riders on races, okay? And every now and then, we get riders and racers who are convinced that they have a mindset issue, okay, on race day. They go and practice, they're fine, they're fast, they get to race day, and everything starts to slide backwards, okay? They start to get fatigued, and they're assuming that that's straight to mindset. Sometimes, yes, it is mindset, but often the problem can also be to nutrition, because nutrition is what helps keep our brain running, okay? And same with water. So if we don't have those things taken care of, then our mindset's going to be shitty. It's like after you've eaten, we've all had this experience. You eat a big bowl of pasta, right? What do you feel like doing afterwards? The last thing you feel like doing is going training, okay? It's not a mindset issue. It's not that you don't want to go and train because your mind's not in the game. It is. It's just that temporarily it's been put out of the game because of the types of foods you've been giving it, so it hasn't been able to focus, okay? So that's just a little bit on correlation. You want to make sure that the benchmarks you're using in the gym are correlating highly with what's happening on the weekend, okay? And if the correlation between those two aren't very high, then number one, it's a waste of actually tracking your workouts or having benchmark tests, because they're not going to actually transfer over to race day. But more importantly is you can't be using only the gym. The gym stuff is a stepping stone or a little marker to put you back in line to be able to reach the end goal. Remember, the end goal is always the bike, okay? And that's the biggest mistake a lot of riders and racers make. They don't start with the bike first, the problem that they're having on the bike, and then work backwards. They start with their gym training and try and find holes in their gym training, but they don't know what they're trying to fix in the first place, okay? So it's very hard to structure your training if you don't know the problem that you're trying to fix. So that's something I wanted to talk about for you guys today. Any questions or anything you'd like to say, any comments? Actually, now let me ask a question at the end of this live stream. I want you guys to post for me in the comments below. So as soon as we finish up, or even now, okay? And the question for today is, what is the number one problem you're having on the bike? Okay? What is the number one problem you're having on the bike, and how are you working to fix that currently? Okay, so what is the number one problem you're having on the bike, and how you're working to fix that? Now, that's going to help to change your mindset and get you focusing on the problem on the bike rather than focusing on your training, where the training comes after. We need to know what the problem is first, then we can map out the training to be able to fix that specific problem. We can't start off with the training if we don't know what the problem is, okay? Because we don't know how we're supposed to train. We don't know what we need to be focusing on. So that's what I want you guys to post up for me. So your number one problem on the bike, okay? And what are you doing to be able to fix that? So I hope that gives you guys some useful information. Obviously, something practical as well that I want you guys to try and implement. So if you can do that exercise for me, sweet. Otherwise, may get another live stream to you guys today, maybe this afternoon. We'll see how we go. Or hope you have a great day, guys. And remember, train hard, race harder. See you guys.